The Beatitudes, I think, have been part for me of the very heart of the story of Jesus, because they are the manifesto, if you like, of Jesus' teaching, and they turn everything upside down. And the love of Jesus is so easy, and the following of Jesus is so the way of blessedness, walking in his footsteps is the lifelong challenge. I could tell you what it means to receive mercy. I could tell you that story bone deep. What does that mean in my life? What has that meant in my life? What does it mean when the loving kindness of God, when the compassion of Jesus has fallen on you, has picked you up, has, given you kind of the grace for a completely new life? I can tell you what that's like. What does it mean to be merciful? Well, what I learn again and again, and what I've been learning over a long time, is that it actually means less. It's not as hard as sometimes I might think it's going to be. That mercy, forgiveness, daring to see the face of God in a stranger, that sort of doing what Jesus did and loving, actually is in itself part of the great movement of the compassion of God in your life. So mercy is about doing what it is that Jesus has done for me in my life. I have discovered that the mercy of God is the love of God, that it is not about being kind of some disapproving, angry God, but actually that the forgiveness and the grace of God is mercy. That's his justice, it seems to me. And for me, the big challenge is more and more, how do I live that justice which actually is God's mercy, not indiscriminate, not cheap at all. The cross is not cheap grace. So what does the cross mean in terms of mercy? Well, it's heart and soul, isn't it? It's, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. It's today you'll be with me in paradise. It's forgive them for they don't know what they're doing. It's God giving himself, God's self completely. And it's letting that wash over. So when I get on my high horse, which every now and again I might do, and think about, my rights, the question is, what rights does Jesus have on the cross? And this is not so that I can keep on putting other people on the cross, not because of that, but because this cross is the promise of God's eternal freedom and loving liberation. That's it. This is God's justice at work. How do we do that with the voice of Jesus? Not necessarily talking about mercy in terms of sin forgiven, but talking about mercy in terms of compassion and loving kindness and God's righteousness. Yes, so I think that the relationship between mercy and justice, I was saying, is I think that the forgiveness of God, the mercy of God, is the justice of God, and it's different from mine. That's what I learn again and again, that I wouldn't be quite as generous as God, that I might not be quite as loving as Jesus, as the Jesus I keep on meeting in the Bible, as the Jesus whose love has touched and just transformed people like me, ordinary people. And I don't think that means that God is not discerning. God is discerning, and what has God discerned? That every one of us is his child, that we are all beloved. There's a challenge.